Howdy friends, my name is Wes Lee. Thanks for stopping by my slice of paradise we lovingly refer to as the House of Tone. I started a YouTube channel to show what my life is like as a bandage repair technician. I appreciate you stopping by. It's tuba week. It's been tuba week all week here. We've been pulling tubas apart and de-denting and chemical flushing and getting them good to go for the school season. And it's been a busy week. Very thankful for that. So we're going to jump right in on this one that I've got going. Today we're going to be highlighting the Mini Z, which a lot of people have been asking questions about. Is it a real repair tool? What all can it do? How much can it do? All of that sort of thing. So I'm going to be using that a whole lot, and then some other dent rods, and I'm going to talk about some of my setup stuff. All right, let's go. Okay, so this particular one is a 3/4 size tuba. We're going to highlight the outer branch. It's pretty toasty. Pretty flat, D-shaped instead of O-shaped. We've got to rebound this out, and the bell kind of banged up. We're going to round all this back out. The bottom bow is pretty damaged, especially on this side, the matching shape coming around here, and some dents over on this side of the boot as well. On this tuba kit, I'm going to show about the guard. I'm going to take the guard off and repair it. When you compare the Mini Z to the Z60, you'll notice that you lose about 5 inches overall. It's about 17 inches of depth on the Mini Z, and here you have about, I think it's about 22. What I would normally do is set up the Z60 for operations and set a dent rod in my vise. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my dent rods in the vise here, and I'm going to put the Mini Z in my floor vise. You'll notice that I pulled the dent holding vise back as far as I could so that this becomes the center of gravity. So when I push here, I don't have nearly as much flex. A lot of times you'll see where I have this out and I go to use it, and it gives more flex because it moves the center of gravity out. So we're going to keep that back, and notice that we don't have nearly as much deflection. Now for setting up the Mini Z with a ball, I'm going to locate it in. I like to use my dent balls. I also use the slugs, but I really like to use the dent balls. And how I set this up, let's zoom this in. And how I set this up is I move this ball and I bring the head down, and I make these exactly in the center when it sets down, so I know my connection point. And that's it. That's how I set it up. And so when I load on my tuba branch, I can get almost to the end of it. And the way that I have the roller set up, I've got it orientated to my left, and that allows me to get down this branch and against this other branch. So I'll be able to get the majority of dents. So I'll use my dent rod and get these furthest back dents before moving back over to here. And actually I'll want to pull out some of these, kind of rough them into shape, so that I'm just using this as a burnisher, really. And so that's what we're going to do. That's the setup. Let's see if we can, hey, what about that dent cam thing? Let's try that again. Okay, let's get my hands in here. And we're going to start with this one here. And now, just working that big one. And the reason that I want to push out as many of these dents, or at least rough them into shape, is because the dent machine by force, squeezing a piece of brass between two pieces of steel, is going to make it flat. But it's also going to push it. It has to have somewhere to go. So the more force you use, the more push you get. If you take the dents and you push them back into shape, you rough out the shape, then you use it more as a burnishing action. Now you're not moving as much of the brass. It's more likely to go back into shape, not overexpanded, not over flared, and will look nice when you get done, and you're not thinning out the material so much. Now I am going to have to rebound these areas. So the way this works is I can do everything on the Mini Z that I can do on the top section of the big Z. And the way I have it set up right now, I'm going as close to this branch as I can. I've got the roller head offset, and I want to come right up to the edge of those next ones. Now I've switched out to a radius roller, and that's going to bring the shape of the tube back. Dents look great. Light lines are straight. Looks like very good, very good. Okay, and then we'll flip the orientation to get these dents, and I'll show you about that. But before we do that, we're going to bang on this. One thing that I really like about this is it goes that way as it's lifted, and it drives forward as it comes down. When you lift it and push it back out of the way a little bit, then you have space that you can hammer on top of the ball. So I'm taking a rawhide mallet, Now I'm going to repeat the process on the large side of the boot. Just going to push what I can. This large one here. By roughing the dents out and not trying to just squeeze it between the machine, what you got, you'll keep your span correct. You won't have as many issues. That's a big problem. It's gonna let me sneak around over here. Okay, I'll take it. It's less work for me to have to do somewhere else. Alright, let's see. Pop this guy back on here. Yep, here we go. So I've got this side back on, and this side lines right back up. So when I get the flatness out of this, and I get this rebounded out, this will all line up. Now I've switched the orientation to my right side, and I've moved to this tapered roller, and we're going to sneak up under that tubing. The dents that were along these braces. May not have to do as much rebound work as I thought. I'm almost halfway around that tube under that brace. That's great. All right, so the next thing up is to make this brace. Just sprayed spot lacquer on it so it's drying, and so now we're going to get this bow cap off of this. Hold on, you're there. The last thing I want to show you with this Mini Z is how I can set this up so that I can run these. How I'm going to set this up is that I'm actually going to move the ball. I'm going to hit the leading edge of the ball. And I'm going to push the flat roller. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use the leading edge so we can do it just like this. Instead of the roller exerting force down, the roller is going to exert force back into the ball this way. And I'm going to use it to run along this ridge and along the flats. So let me tighten all this down and we'll get to work. So we got the inside. So you can see this is all straight again. We still have some dents here. And we're gonna roll, move the roller. So now we can roll on these parts. And then we come back and work the edge. So that's your piece. So there it is. Goes where we got to get dents out of the body, but that's the way it sits. And here's an example after I've buffed and spot lacquered it. So that's an easy way to do that. So we're down to rolling the bell rim. And here are our results. Very nice, light lines, came out great. Everything's round. I took care of this. This will be another video, how I take care of the dents in the knuckle. But the Mini Z did a great job on this. Well, all right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me today. That Mini Z does a great job. That's a serious tool. And it's so small, portable, and compact. I'm really digging it on my mobile rig. I know I keep talking about it. I've taken it out and we've worked. When I show up on site, it's just go, go, go until the end of the day. And so we're gonna have some time this fall though, to where we can show it off and you'll be able to see what I'm working with. But and I'm looking forward to showing that to you. Anyway, the tuba turned out great. You saw I got another one disassembled. I got another one that I'm close to putting back together. And then I think there are 3 or 4 more. So, boogity, 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 right? Got to get it done. I'll put the part numbers of the tools that I use down in the description along with the link for each tools. And that way you'll have it for a reference. You can give them a call or shoot them an email. I appreciate you following along. I appreciate the comments. I think I'm about caught up with everybody now. Look forward to seeing you again soon. This is Wes Lee, signing out.